Hello everyone. I know it's been a while, but on today's video, I'm gonna show you something quite useful that I've learned on my I learned on like watching one of the Brooker webinars. So it's how to have my favorite experiments like on one tab. So you all you need to do is if this doesn't appear on your TopSpin, is just come on browser, come here, right click, and then browse preferences. And you have to have this like click, like set here, show experiments tab, apply, close. So mine is already set. I have these guys here. So in my case, so for example, there are two types. I have like TopSpin library that is quite useful. So you can get all those par files that are saved for like standard Brooker poll sequence. Like for example, for proteins, you can get from TROZ experiments or get like, for example, drug discovery. You can come here, you have STD, you have water log Z. But how about like my own parameter files if I want to save those? So you can actually create your own like personal library, right? So for example, I have here, I've saved like some of my favorite ones. Like I don't have everything saved so far, but I have, for example, my 3D experiment AGNCO, AGNCACO with news, for example. If a user comes and he doesn't know how to set, so I let it like a pre-saved parameter file, so you can just come and I have a set of comments like how to change polls, like the sweep width, all this sort of stuff. So, but if in so how can I add like so all I have to do is like, for example, let's say that I've been running some experiments for my standard sample GB1. And so let's say that I want to save this parameter files here. Like, how do I save this guy here? So I can just like type wpar, and then I'm gonna save it here, like write new, and then I have just to write whatever name I want, and then click on OK. I already have this guy here, so I won't save it again. And then to add that to my library, I would just come here. Like for example, let's say if I want to add a new tab, like for example, a new tab here can create like a new group. And then I'll have like that's how I created like favorite 3D, 2D, 1D, all those options here. And then if you want to add something here, for example, all you have to come is like click here, right click, add experiment, and then it's gonna show up like your in my case, I was adding like the user pathway, like in my you see like this is the pathway for my par files. I have the user option here. So you can actually look for those, for example, let's see what I have here with AGNS. So for example, I have like some old experiment that were saved. For example, I could add this guy here. Let's say if I set this guy here, so I have like now saved. And then how do I set my experiment from here? I just like double click. And then let's say I'm gonna save under 999 just because I'm running a test experiment. And then if I just don't want to execute get result, for example, if I just want like to do and like no additional actions, I can just click here and gonna save whatever I have set on my parameter files. Or I can also like execute get result as well as always an option. So if I do so 999 already exists, so I'm gonna save, I don't know, 101. Probably doesn't have any. So let me check this guy. So this experiment, for example, I just have like I probably ran only like some sense how to test like the one of the plans. So that was all that I have saved there. But what I can do as well, for example, let's say that you check and it's like incomplete, your par file is like incomplete like mine. So I could just like complement this information under for example, if I have like if I calibrate the pulse, right? In this case, I'm just running like Gabrosol and not using a calibrated pulse, but I could just come here, set whatever I want. Let's say that I want to run like this way in a uniform sampling, could just, and with like 32 scans, I could just prepare like this guy. And with a known, like let's say that I'm going to use 15%. All saved. I want to save this parameter set. Just come here, wpar, and then I'll just override this guy here, like by running, right? Okay. The next time I double click, I'll have it like the last button per file. For example, let's test again. And there it is with everything that I have saved before. So that's quite useful. For example, you don't have to go through like all your par files to load. It's just like you save your favorites, double click, and it's gonna load whatever you have set before, and then you just change the polls, change sweep width, change the O1 if it is necessary, and all this like just fine adjustments. So that's it, and I hope is you find it useful.